Hello and welcome to the France 24 weekly music show. My guest this week is French artist and he's known for having a vintage sound and style. His first two albums, 10-Hit Wonder and Have You Met Gaspard Royant, paid tribute to the 50s and 60s pop, rock and northern soul and were recorded live in analogue studios. He's back this year with The Real Thing. That's the new name of his full-length studio album, which he approached with a bit of a modern twist. Gaspard Royant, thank you so much for being here in the France 24 studios.
Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Your album is fresh, bright and poppy, and it's kind of perfect for the summer. Tell us a bit more about some of the modern machinery that you brought into your writing and recording process.
Yeah. I used to record analog, as you said, live with musicians. And the idea with this new album was to take time to try new things. So I learned how to work with the computer, synthesizers, and just try to figure out how I could have fun with it, you know. Because the idea was to have fun. Doing the same thing over and over again, I was kind of bored, so I took time to try things and just see where it was going. Mm-hmm.
And I read in an interview that you did while in the depth of lockdown related to this COVID pandemic that you'd actually like to work with Timbaland one day because he knew his way around the machines in the studio. Can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah, that's it. I listened to a lot of music during this time. I had nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. And, I started listening to some soul music from the 60s. And then it took me to some funk music from the 70s. And from the funk music, you go to artists like Dr. Dre, hip-hop artists like Kanye West, and of course Timbaland, which was a big influence for this album. So it was really a mix of all those influences. And it goes with the idea to try modern stuffs and different sounds.
Mm-hmm. But talking of modern stuff, it's interesting because there are a number of themes in your album. There's toxic masculinity, which is one of them, but also the disappointment with modern day technology, but also socializing. Can you tell us a bit more about the mood you were in when you concocted this album?
I wanted to do something modern, so I wanted to talk about the modern world and to try to say things about the world we're living in right now and try to ask questions about where we're going altogether as a species. And so, we're living a very interesting time, it's scary, but at the same time, it's very exciting because a lot of things are happening and we're all wondering, where is it all going, for the best, for the worst? So it's more like asking questions. I didn't want to be too much of a...
Debbie Downer.
Yeah, it's more like trying to imagine different futures, different paths, and asking questions.
Well, how about we check out this different future possibility with your track, Man.
You need a second chance. You stand up and be a man. You take all the liquid courage you can get. You see.
Fantastic track that you can find on Gaspard Royant's new album, The Real Thing, and an excellent video. Tell us a little bit more about this video. Where was it filmed and who had the idea for it?
That's a crazy place. That's south of Valencia in Spain. That's a building made by the Spanish architect Ricardo Bofill. He died last year, I think. And it's crazy. It's very colorful, and it's like a maze. And I think it inspired the Korean TV show Squid Game. And so the director Andy Mestre had the idea to go shoot there and anywhere you look, it's beautiful. And we were just switching on the camera, and it was like, okay, it's perfect. Don't move. Everything is fine. So it was a great place to shoot. Yeah.
Oh, it's a fantastic video. Going back to your music on the record, I noticed there were a few nods to some of my favorite classic tracks, notably the intro of We Wanted the World kind of reminds me of Serge Gainsbourg, Ford Mustang a little bit. Was that kind of conscious to have those little nods? It's not the only one, but...
Some of them were, some of them weren't. But it's funny. The We Wanted the World. This song, I imagine this as a James Bond opening theme, because that's something I really love, the James Bond themes. And I'm still waiting for them to ask me to write one. But since they didn't, I decided to write my own. And this is that song. So yes, it has this 70s ring, Serge Gainsbourg-like. But really, it's made to be a James Bond song.
Well, hopefully they'll call you up. There's also a lot of gothic vibes and stories of little vampires and people living off, making money off people who are dead. I think that's really fun. So really, really check out this album. You're going to be on tour in the fall, but you've got a little gig this Thursday, Paris at Gibert, which is a record store. What are you like now on stage with your band? With this album?
It's kind of different from what I did before, because the album is kind of different. So we try to play it as faithfully as it is on the record. We're 4 on stage with a drummer, a bass player who also plays guitar, and a keyboard player. And it's a mix of. It's very live, because I want the energy of live music and of the musicians. They're all really great musicians. So I want the live thing, but I also wanted to have the power and the energy that you can find in the record.
Well, talking about power energy, how about we check out some of the other releases of this week, and we're going to head over to one of the world's biggest boy bands. I'm talking, of course, of Korea's BTS. Now, after close to a decade exciting crowds across the world, they're back with a K-pop rap-filled anthology album called Proof. Would you like a teaser? Of course you would.
Criminal undercover, don't pop like glory. Split before we know how to let it. Don't let her talk, just walk the walk tonight. 'Cause we don't need permission to dance.
And the band are famous for their dance moves. I guess, but I know you're a good mover, so people should definitely check you out live. Little question, because stars nowadays and musicians, but not only, we're journalists as well and other jobs, there's a lot of pressure to produce and be successful on social media. Are you finding that quite problematic?
Well, it's kind of boring. I spend. I'm trying to promoting my record right now, and I spend most of my time on social media trying to post because I need to, and it's taking me too much time.
Totally, it's a full-time job, but you should still follow France 24 on social media and Encore, of course, and Gaspard Royant, myself. Go for it. Talking of social media, something that's kind of interesting, and another artist that you should go and look at is we're going back into the topic of toxic masculinity, and you might be interested in the new compilation that's full of cool rock girls, produced by Raincoats drummer Vice Cooler and Bikini Kill guitarist Erica Donwich. It's called Land Benefit for Nefok. Now, all the proceeds will be going to northeastern farmers of colour. The compilation brings together the likes of Riot Girl Kathleen Hanna, teeny boppers the Lindas, and techno queen Louisa, who's also been on Encore. How about we check out the compilation's Kim Gordon track? It's called Debt Collector.
You gotta pay down the money, dream dollar. Take the lead, stride. 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 Take a look. Take a look. You're not conflicted. You're right.
And you can find this Land Trust compilation exclusively on Bandcamp. Gaspard Royant, what are your favourite musicians or artists at the minute that you're also listening to?
I love a girl from England. It's Jessie Ware. She released the last album 2 years ago, but I'm still listening to it a lot. And another young English artist, Joy Crooks.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, love her. Jay Gray. A lot of female artists, actually. There's a lot of good soul music in England right now.
Oh yeah, keep them tracked, and hopefully we'll have them also here on France 24. Gaspard, thank you so much for coming on the show.
That was my
I'm going to
pleasure.
remind people that your beautiful record and vinyl is out in all good record stores, but of course also online. And do stay tuned to France 24 because the news is coming up in just a few seconds. You can stay locked on our culture news, france24.com. We're going to wrap up the show today with something fantastic. It's a big comeback, that of, do you remember this term, indie sleaze? It was an era that occurred in the early 2000s and went on to the early 2010s. It was full of funny punk rock electro artists, and the Yeah, who were kind of part of it, are back nearly 9 years after their album was released. The new one will be called Cool It Down, and it's set for this September. In the meantime, here's the first single.